Welcome, guys, to another episode of Unfiltered World Podcast Show. I'm your host, as always, Thabiso Wiseman Zulu, all the way from Durban, South Africa. It's a very beautiful place. It's a very beautiful place. If you'd like to visit, you may come and visit Durban, South Africa. And firstly, I would like to say thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. I know I have been gone for too long, and believe me when I say I have missed you a lot, like a lot. So I had some problems, I had some problems, technical problems to be more precise. So I couldn't produce more shows. But without further ado, let's dive into today's topic. Today's topic, we are talking about the issues of illegal immigration all over the world. Firstly, what are the common reasons for people to immigrate from one point to another? So some of those reasons can be economic reasons, desperation for a better life for themselves and for their families. It can be armed conflict and climate change, right? As you all know, armed conflicts, they tend to be more common when it comes to these types of topics. So that's why people tend to go to another country and seek the asylum, right? So I'm not into that today. I'm more focused on the issues of illegal immigration. So what are the problems they tend to bring along? Not all of them, but few of them. Those problems tend to be all kinds of crime. Right? They tend to bring all kinds of crimes, the kinds that we have never seen before. Sometimes, it's one of those crimes, the kind of crimes that can be prevented. But who knows, man? Who knows? We are living in the world, right? Some of those crimes, they range from rape, kidnappings, contract killings, drug fraud, fake marriages, and fake love. Fake love is even bigger in the United States of America, to mention. Even here in South Africa, the stuff they come, they come with all these silly ideas, when it comes to crime. Like marriages, like fake marriages of all things. Like, who would dare do that? Like a fake marriage, only for what? A visa, a permanent visa. Anyway, some they do these kind of crimes, just to maintain a permanent residence, a permanent citizenship, So, like, it's very messy. It's very, very messy. Some they even scam other people, especially Americans. They tend to scam Americans big time. They scam Americans big time of their excuse me, of their retirement funds, right? Imagine you work your whole life, 60 years. You work very, very hard, and then you fall into this trap, fake life, a fake marriage. We all know who specializes on those type of crimes. Nigeria, we all know. Nigerians, they specialize on those type of crimes, right? Fake love, fake marriages, even fake families. Even fake families, man. Even fake families. So, all in the name of what? All in the name of permanent residence. Just a permanent residence, right? In a particular country. What are the top 5 countries with the most with the most immigrants in Europe? We have USA as the first country on the list. It seems to be more popular to illegal immigrants and to all kinds of immigrants who are seeking refuge to better countries, countries that promises a better future for themselves and for their children. So who do we have next? It's got to be German, right? It's got to be German. It's more popular amongst German-speaking people, in as much as Saudi Arabia too, as well as France, which is number 4 on the list, and the UK number 5 on the list, right? So what's common among these countries, right? The one thing that is common among these countries, it's simple. They promise a better future. They promise that one better future. It's almost like impossible to even hesitate for a second, because like why not? We all know USA. It's a very, very developed country. It's a very, very prosperous country, same as Saudi Arabia and Germany, right? As well as France and the UK. They are all very, very developed countries with a very high standard of living, right? So if you can go there and live there, you can. Only if you can afford. Please do go through proper channels so that you can be accepted and live a very comfortable life there. I promise you that you will enjoy your stay in those countries. Only if you do follow proper channels. Okay, now we have came to the African list. We have top 5 countries with the most immigrants in Africa. What are those countries? We have South Africa. Others, they know South Africa as the land of the milk and the honey, same as the United States of America. It's like heaven to these people, right? It's like heaven. So what do we have next? We have Cote d'Ivoire, and we have Uganda. Oh, yes, we have Uganda and Sudan, as well as Nigeria. We have Nigeria on the list. It's very shocking that Nigeria is on this list. I'm surprised and shocked. Anyway, who am I to judge? Let's dive into more details when it comes to this illegal immigration. So, in South Africa, what rights do illegal immigrants have in South Africa? So when it comes to constitutional protection, South Africa's Constitution of South Africa protects everyone in the country, including undocumented immigrants, guaranteeing rights, dignity, life, and freedom from abuse, right? It's shocking, right? It's shocking because it's like they state here clearly, undocumented immigrants. Undocumented immigrants, allegedly. Okay, let's proceed. So when it comes to detention and legal rights, okay, we find that we have undocumented immigrants can be detained or deported, but they must be treated fairly, told why they are detained, allowed to contact a lawyer, and given access to legal aid. You heard that right. Be given access to legal aid. Detention is limited, usually up to 30 days, unless a court extends it. Can I repeat this one? Detention and legal rights. Undocumented immigrants can be detained or deported, but they must be treated fairly. Okay, You come to a country illegally, you do a crime, you kidnap, you rape, you commit a crime, and then the Constitution says you have a right to be treated with respect. Okay, let me read. Undocumented undocumented immigrants can be detained or deported, but they must be treated fairly. You have just killed somebody. You have the right to be treated fairly. You have the right to be treated fairly. Okay, let me proceed. Be treated fairly and be told why they are detaining you. Okay, allowed to contact a lawyer. On top of that, you are allowed to contact a lawyer. That means you can come into the country and kill whoever you want, and then still on top of that, you have the right to lawyer. You have all the rights, in fact. It's shocking. And given access to legal aid. On top of everything we have mentioned, access to legal aid. Detention is limited, usually up to 30 days unless a court extends it. Why would the court extend it? It begs a lot of questions. You have come into the country illegally. You have done all those wrong things. Some they even come here into South Africa with bombs, ammunitions, guns, everything. Like they do everything wrong. And still the Constitution still protects the very same people who are trying to bring our country down. It's shocking, as I've said before. It's very, very shocking. If you can relate, please do comment, and I would like to hear from you. And I am gonna be going through each and every single comment online. Like we have to talk about these things, right? By the way, this is the South African Constitution. So let me go to number 3, right? So number 3 says access to basic services. On top of everything we have spoken about, you have access to basic services. So what does the Constitution say? The Constitution says they can still access essential services such as public health care, including emergency care and HIV and AIDS or HIV TB treatment, and children have the right to basic education and protection. I'm not against that, but we all know that South African healthcare system is falling apart. Some of these illegal immigrants have been found to sell medication. Where do they get the right to sell medication? Medication that is supposed to be free for everyone, but then somehow through corruption and fraudulent activities, they still do manage to do what? To sell the very same medication intended for people who can't afford to go to the private institutions for healthcare service. But then here we are in South Africa. Everyone does as they please. By the way, it's written on the Constitution under access to basic services. If you are an immigrant, just like anywhere in the world, whenever you go to Europe, you have to show that you have medical aid, right? Everyone knows that you have to show that you have a medical aid and the ability to support and survive. you have to produce such documents. That includes Australia, UK, Canada, and everywhere else in the world. You can't just go there and just be a burden. You just can't do that. You can't do that. You have to be responsible. You have to be responsible. Be a responsible citizen. Respect other people's rights, constitution, lives, privacy, everything. You have to respect each and every people you come along, you come across. It's life. It's just simple basics of survival. If you can't respect other people, then you won't be able to get help. You won't be able to get assistance. So what does the South African Constitution says? They still can access essential services such as public health care, including emergency care and HIV or TB treatment, and children have the right to basic education. In South Africa, we have way more children, more than like 100,000 students who couldn't access education last year. If I'm not mistaken, allegedly, if I'm not mistaken, last year or this year, they couldn't go to public hospitals, to public schools. Why? More than 200 and something thousand of these illegal immigrants, children, they were there, occupying the schools, same schools that South African children should have been occupying, but they couldn't. Why? Even the principal of that school, I won't mention, was a foreigner. On top of everything, he was a foreigner. So what do you expect? Who prioritizes who? Who prioritizes who? It's the question. Operation Tutula have been asking for many times. It's a question no one seems to answer. And then it's very disturbing to see your child not being able to go to school just because, someone who shouldn't be here in South Africa has taken that space, the space of your child. Now suddenly your child has to be what? Has to be on the street doing what? We all know children, they are very good when it comes to bad habits. Very soon they're gonna, develop the habits of drugs, drug addiction, all those things, silly stuff. While the immigrants, children, they are there on the schools, in schools, and studying, getting a very big privilege, the very same privilege that South African children can't have access on. Anyway, let me just jump to another point. Under labor, so it's labor protection, right? So regarding labor, what does the Constitution say? Let me go through it. It says, even if working illegally, right? Let me start again. Even if working illegally, they are still protected, and labor laws and cannot be unfairly exploited or abused by employers. You come into a country, you look for a job. Obviously, you don't have papers. We do not know your past. Most of these people, they were criminals. And then they come into South Africa. As I've explained, they do everything they wish and everything they please. Stuff that they can never do on their own homeland. Why? Because the government there plays no games. Here we are in South Africa. our government plays a lot of games, a lot of them, right? It seems like foreigners or foreign people tend to have these enormous privileges that us as South Africans we don't have, because when it comes to us South Africans, even something like waking up in the morning and looking for a job, just go there and look for a job. You won't be able to find the kind of job that you are looking for, regardless of whether you have studied or not. We all know that. You can't just wake up in the morning and look for a job. Firstly, they will ask one thing, okay, which is necessary for skills. So, what qualifications do you have? You will produce whatever qualifications you have. It's fine. Next thing, they will ask experience. Okay, you have the experience, but we are not talking about just an experience, J, right? We are talking about 6 to 1 year experience. It's even worse when it comes to government jobs, right? Government jobs, they are the worst of all, because like you can go there right now. You can go there, search on Google government jobs, and then you go search for experience. It's very unfortunate, and it's a very like it's very it's just, in fact it just don't make no sense, to like think about it. Like you've just came out from university, or college, and then you apply for a job, and then the post says we need a master's degree. Okay, a master's degree, it's obtainable, you have one, but the catch is the experience part. Why am I saying that? Think about it. You've just came out. Now the post says we want 5-year experience. Does that make sense? Make that make sense. How does an individual, a freshman from the university or college, must have such experience, like 3 to 5 year experience? That's just an entry like level job, and here they are, 3 to 5 year experience. So that makes your qualification absolute. It makes no sense anymore. Your qualifications means nothing at all, because now it has been blocked by one thing: experience. You don't have that experience. So what if you are faking it now? If you are faking it, now you have committed a crime. But would you have committed such a crime if you had an opportunity? The answer is simple: no. No one can do that, because there's no reason to do that. But when you are starving at home, your mother is sick, your daddy is sick, everyone depends on you, grandchildren, they are here, you are 5 people in the family, sometimes even 20 people in the family, and you are the oldest man in the house or lady in the house. What do you do next? You have to find ways. And that's why even women, tend to go into hustling, prostitution, simply because they just can't find a job. I'm not saying prostitution is right or criminality is right. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about the fact here. We have to be more into details when it comes to these issues, because they do not affect only us young people. They affect each and every single person here, who is who is one day going to be looking for a job. Everyone is affected. You, your child, your children, your children's, everyone is affected. The whole entire generation is affected. You know? So this thing of experience, it becomes heavy on us. It becomes very, very heavy on us. So let's jump into the next point here. The next point here is limitations of rights. So the Constitution says they can vote, hold. Oh, excuse me, I misread that. So the Constitution says they cannot, yes, they cannot vote, hold political office or legal work in most cases, and they have to be deported, but only through proper legal procedures. I do agree on that one. But I highly doubt that in South Africa that is possible. I highly doubt it. It's very possible. It just doesn't seem to be possible. We all know why. It just doesn't seem to be possible, right? I won't go through details more on this one, but I'm just trying to paint a picture here. That we are facing one of those problems. You know, we are facing one of those difficult problems as South Africans. You know, we seem to be number last on the list. Because when it comes to immigrants, it's like everyone seems to accept them, you know, because they have no papers, no benefits. They can work for as many hours as they can. They can never go and complain to the CCMA or on any government institution. They're just here to work. You know, they work. Unfortunately, they work. So they work. Okay. As South Africans, even our politicians, they're labeling us as lazy people. You know, I won't mention political parties, but everyone knows those political parties. Everyone knows them, you know. So you can never be surprised, you know, to find that most South Africans, they are facing very, very difficult times. You know, they are facing very, very difficult times. So they even try to open sponsor shops. Guess what? We can't open sponsor shops anymore. We can't, cause illegal immigrants, they have taken over a whole $960 billion market. They have taken it easy, you know. They have taken it. Now, how South Africans should survive? They won't be able to survive. They can't survive because the situations and the circumstances won't let them to survive. So if life presses you towards the corner, what do? You seek a way out. And what is the way out? Crime. They do crime. Because I can't go hungry a whole 5 days, a whole week, a whole month. I can't. Family is starving, mother is starving. We're all starving. We have to do something. Somebody has to do something. Somebody has to sacrifice himself for the benefit of others. That's how crime is. That's how crime is done in South Africa. That's how crime happens. That's how crime happens almost everywhere in the world. That's how crime happens. Because you can't go hungry knowing very well that you have studied, you have done everything that you can in your power, and then now you can't put a single plate, you know, just a bread on your table. You can't. Baby is starving, children are starving, family is starving. You have to do something. You are the oldest. You have to do something. Not for you, but for the sake of your family. Maybe you have a child, a baby mama, you know. Now it has become an extra family. Your child needs what? Needs food, needs care, needs clothes, needs everything. So crime tends to be more optional, more of a choice. I'm not saying it's a choice, even though it is, but I'm not saying it's a choice as such, because you have to explore all these circumstances. It's not right to hurt somebody. It's not right to hurt somebody. It's just that some other people, they find it very difficult, to try and manage, because it's hard to even manage. You go to a government institution, you try to start a company. You try to start a company in South Africa. They're gonna give you a whole list of things that they require from you. No support at all for young entrepreneurs. No support at all. But it's so surprising that illegal immigrants, they tend to have more opportunities when it comes to government support. How ironic is that? How ironic is that? For your government to give you an opportunity, a shot in life, you have to go through a bunch of lists, such as a 1 year operational. They want a 1 year operation, but it's something involving accounting something, and they're gonna seek, all those things. You are a South African or not? How long does your business have been working? Do you have this? Do you have that? Like all those things. Even when you are trying to bid for a tender, it's even worse when you're trying to bid for a tender. It's even worse. If you do get the tender, guess what? Some people, they're gonna come knocking in your door, they're gonna kick it, and bam, you dead. You dead. Tell me, who orchestrates all those things? You watch the news, right? You read the papers. So let me take you to these stories, right? Let me take you to these stories. Story number one, we have this post on Facebook, African Cities and Skies. That's the page from Facebook. You can go check it, Africa, Cities and Skies. You can go check that page on Facebook. I've came across this post here. That's quote, and I quote, Themba Prince Willard Dube is a Zimbabwean, serial killer and rapist, arrested for raping and killing 7 women in and around Polokwane in South Africa. How does that even, like 7, imagine, like 7. Who has the guts of killing 7 people and still have no regrets? What kind of people is that? What kind of people is that? A Zimbabwean serial killer and a rapist. He should be ashamed of himself, right? Anyway, let's go to story number 2 on Daily Maverick News, right? This is a newspaper. We get to find the story that says Nigerian cops trace kings. No, excuse me. Nigerian cops trace king pins to South Africa. After a cocaine. Let me read correctly. Nigerian cops trace kingpins to South Africa after cocaine, pistols, and a military item smuggled from Durban, South Africa. What more worse can be said when it comes to illegal immigration or the kind of criminality they come with in our land? Wherever you are, you may be an American, you may be in Saudi Arabia, maybe in Germany or France and the UK, anywhere in the world. Imagine someone comes into your country and then they do all these crimes. What would you say as a leader of the country? How would you feel seeing your people die? Die for nothing. And then still you have the guts of protecting the very same illegal immigrants who come with one passion and one vision and one dream of committing a crime. Killing, rapings, extortion, everything you can mention. They've done it. They're doing it every day. I saw a clip on the other day, Joburg, when DJ Virus, may his soul rest in peace, was gunned down on day broad light, right? Like, who has the guts of doing that? You carry a gun, and then you approach someone, and then you shoot them, and then it's over just like that. DJ somebody was killed was killed almost the same way. Even AKA himself was killed same way. Two men approaches, and then bang, you're dead. And then when you chase them, they're not from South Africa. They're from other countries. Came into South Africa illegally. How many South Africans commit such crimes? Story number 3. Nigerian drug lords dominate South Africa's narcotics trade, confidential police report reveals. I do not even know what narcotics is, but it sounds so serious, same as the cocaine bust. We are grateful to have a policeman such as Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, someone who has stood firm against crime, someone who has cracked down multiple crimes, multiple criminals from the townships all the way to the big fish, the bigger fishes of this South African land who does crime. More in the SAPS to mention, and somewhere else, throughout the government institutions. It's more like we are doing a cleanup, trying to clean our home, try to clean South Africa to be great again. We want to be that one greater, that giant country that we used to be in the 90s, right? 90s and 80s. We used to be a very, very respected country during those years, during those times. Very, like a South African man and a South African passport used to be very, very respected, but now everything is gone. Why? Illegal immigrants, Nigerians to be more precisely. They use our passports, they use our South African documents to commit crimes that put a shade on our documents. They can never be reliable. They can never be trusted, as they used to be in the past. No one trusts us anymore. No one trusts us. But if it wasn't for corruption, we wouldn't be facing this kind of, this kind of experience when it comes to traveling, we wouldn't be facing all these circumstances, right? So, thank you for tuning in today's show. If you do agree, and please do remember that everything I've spoken about, everything I'm speaking, everything I've read, and everything I have spoke about on this podcast, allegedly, everything is allegedly, right? That's a disclaimer. Everything I've spoken about, it is based on research. It's therefore an alleged, stories, right? It's allegedly everything I have read here. Nothing is concrete and nothing I'm saying is valid. Therefore, I'm just going through some of the things that I found on the internet. It's the kind of stories that you can find everywhere on Google. It's the kind of stories that you can find on your Facebook, on your internet, on your social networks. Okay, so if you did enjoy this show, please comment below. Comment, and I will therefore go through your comments and I will answer each and every one of you. So thank you for tuning in to today's episode. This is episode number 3. I'm your host, Thabiso Wiseman Zulu, all the way from Durban, South Africa. Thank you. Please stay tuned for another episode. On our episode, we're going to be talking more about employment and unemployment in South Africa. That's episode 4. Stay tuned. To give you some of the highlights on the episode that is coming, we're going to be talking about, unemployment in South Africa often exceeding 50%. That is a staggering number. 50%, in primary driven structural mismatches between skills and job requirements, sluggish economy, key factors including failing education system, rigged labor market, regulations, unreliable power infrastructure, and lack of entrepreneurship, creating a very difficult situation for young South Africans seeking what? Seeking initial work or a job experience. Please stay tuned for the next episode, which gonna be dropping. Our next episode it's gonna drop around 28th or 29th. It's gonna drop in between those days, and I'm gonna dive into this topic more. I'm gonna dive into this topic more. And if it does affect you, please do comment and follow for more episode. As I'm signing out. See you on the next episode, which is episode number 4. Stay tuned. Bye bye.